Hello, this is Kirby again, and welcome back to the third episode of Zoo Crew Review, where I will be reviewing the second issue of Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew, and pairing it with the classic Looney Tunes short, The Awful Orphan. Our second cover is penciled by Scott Shaw with inks by Robert Allen Smith. It proclaims itself to be not just another funny animal comic, with Pig Iron holding up Captain Carrot, smashing his head into the logo, going, "Nobody pushes Pig Iron around. Not even you, Captain Carrot," as the rest of the zoo crew look upon the scene helplessly. And in this corner, Armadillo. So I really do like this cover a lot because it gives you exactly what this issue is going to be about, which is Pig Iron fighting with the rest of the zoo crew, and the expressions on every character's face in this is pure gold, from like Captain Carrot's terrified expression to the ticked off look of Pig Iron, while the rest of the zoo crew just looks upon helplessly. And I swear, Armadillo was also the name of like a Beast Wars figure. If anyone knows off the top of their head, please let me know. Our issue begins where the first issue left off. The macabre menace of the mammal called Armadillo. This issue was originally released on January 28th, 1982. Writer Roy Thomas, penciler Alfredo P. Akea, inker Scott Shaw, letterer Ben Oda, and colorist Carl Gafford. So I am guessing that after the big run of the first long issue and the 16-page special, Scott Shaw could not pencil this issue in time, but luckily with him inking, he's able to keep the artwork all consistent over Alfredo Piakea's pencils. And I think, honestly, if you're not paying attention to the credits, it does not leap out at you, which I think is very good, especially for a series that's just starting out. This issue picks up right where the last issue left off, where Superman has deposited the zoo crew back onto Earth-C, with him announcing, "Well, now Star's space barrier's gone, and everything's returned to normal, I'll be heading back to Earth-1. Look me up if you're ever in the neighborhood." "We'll do that, Supermax," says Captain Carrot. So, Superman's home planet needs him. He must go now. As Superman flies away, Captain Carrot goes, "There goes a great guy. A bit ethnocentric with that Earth-1 business. But nobody's perfect." I always love it when other characters in DC Comics will poke fun at the Earth-1 designation. Like, even Jay Garrick, I remember reading once going, "We were here first. We'll let them call themselves Earth-1, though." Rubber Duck then chimes in, "I hear ya. Well, I guess Yankee Poodle and I can split for Follywood, eh? Though even starring my new movie will be kinda dull, after saving the world and all." Following Rubber Duck's comment, Captain Carrot tries to convince the rest of them to actually stay on and make the zoo crew a real team, with part of his logic being, "After all, as Roger Rabbit, I write and draw a comic book about superheroes. They're just a lot of animals." And really, as the discussion goes on, it's clear that Fastback and Alley Cat-Tabber are all in, but Rubber Duck and Yankee Poodle are a little more like, "Yeah, we'll help, but we have our own, Follywood lifestyles to keep us busy first." Captain Carrot's response is, "That's a stud anyway. Now, how about it, Rubber Duck? We'd be all honored to have a movie star like Bird Rentals in the zoo crew." And Captain Carrot is just giving Rubber Duck just this great, crab-eating grin, and Rubber Duck's response is, "Yeah, but I got the percentage of the gross on my next film, Crashing Boars, and, well, okay, count me in, at least for a while." And folks, I am almost certainly going to repeat some Burt Reynolds animal pun jokes over the course of this series, so let me get these three out now. Deliver Ants, Best Little Doghouse in Texas, Doggy Nights, and Sharky's Machine, parentheses, but this time there's an actual shark in it. Alley Cat-Tabber makes it very clear that if Yankee Poodle wants to hightail it back to Tinseltown later, who needs her? At which point, Yankee Poodle and Alley Cat-Tabber start fighting like cats and dogs. It took me way too long to realize that very obvious, stupid joke, but hey. As the two are bickering, Captain Carrot just thinks, "I never have this kind of thing happen to the JLA." Now the rest of the team wants Pig Iron's opinion on forming the zoo crew. He makes his intentions clear by just storming away, saying, "Sorry people, but all my life I've been plain little Peter Porkchops, steelworker." and he walks away into the traffic with a car hitting him and him not even flinching. Huh? Somebody say something? No, I guess not. The owner of the car gets out and takes a swing at Pig Iron, but predictably shatters his paw on Pig Iron's metallic body. Pig Iron just simply flicks him away onto a restaurant canopy, telling him that he's lucky he's in a good mood. Another concerned citizen goes, "Come on, everybody, we gotta make a citizen's arrest, I'll eat." And then Pig Iron just immediately flicks this wolf too. Pig Iron is really tearing up the streets like he is Ben Grimm on his worst day here, which I think is the majority of what this issue is a parody of. A cop does try to apprehend Pig Iron, but Pig Iron just simply punches down into the streets, sending a bunch of citizens flying. Captain Carrot then hops into action, thinking, "Sizzling celery sticks! Pig Iron's gone too far this time! Go get him, gang! Don't let anybody get hurt!" So following Captain Carrot's instructions, Fastback catches someone. Rubber Duck stretches into the sky, saying, "No, thank yous, please. If you want to show your gratitude, go see the new Bird Reynolds movies. Why, have you got a part in it? About 3%, and that's gross, not net." And I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of gross and net and a lot of Hollywood jokes that are in this series, and I just do not find them funny at all. Rather than saving anyone, Yankee Poodle is just leaning back against a fire hydrant, which catches the ire again of Alley Cadabra going, "I trust you're not overexerting yourself, YP." Captain Carrot then confronts Pig Iron going, "Whew! Everybody's safe! Everybody but you, Pig Iron!" "Huh? What are you talking about? You really don't get it, do you? Here we are, a spanking new superhero team that needs all the good press it can get. And you nearly turn us all into instant supervillains instead." "I just want to be left alone." The next page is a lot of Captain Carrot and Pig Iron going back and forth with some truly excellent poses from Pig Iron as he's just leaning up against a street sign pole and some really good expressions as the two of them are fighting back and forth, including Captain Carrot saying that Pig Iron might find himself locked away in solitary confinement, to which Pig Iron responds, "You know, that sounds suspiciously like a threat, and Pig Iron don't like threats." Then trapping Captain Carrot in a car tire and kicking him off into the sky. The cop from earlier then tries to shoot Pig Iron, but realizes he's bulletproof. Pig Iron then tells the cop that he's going to make him eat his own gun, as he just continues to terrorize the streets of New York. And then we cut to Captain Carrot, who I was able to flex free of the car tire surrounding him, right in time for him to hit his head on the side of a building. He starts trying to literally claw his way to slow himself down on the side of the building, passing a secretary bird that looks exactly like a Dr. Seuss bird, with the nameplate, of course, saying Ms. Seuss on it, which is a very nice little detail. Captain Carrot then realizes that, in coincidences of coincidences, this is actually the Wombat Communications building where our whole adventure started for him. As he crawls back in through one of the windows, he starts glowing a faint pink as his muscles slowly start dissipating. And he straight up tells his coworkers that see him crawl through the window that he is, in fact, Captain Carrot, but they just don't believe him. They just think he's kidding. Captain Carrot then trudges his way back to his office, getting his cape stuck in the elevator door, going, "Now I see why so few comic book heroes wear capes anymore." So, this book, being published in 1982, predates Watchmen and certainly The Incredibles on the no capes policy. Captain Carrot then slams the door going, "There! Safe alone in my own studio at last! At least my esteemed editor, Duck Giordano, loves me and my work." To which he finds a note from his beloved editor saying, "Roger, you drew this same scene last year. Shape up or ship out." And it's over an image of the Just a Lot of Animals having to row for Croc Jar Row in a parody of Justice League of America #3. Captain Carrot grabs another one of his radioactive powered carrots, causing one arm to grow really strong, then the other, and then, after smashing his head up against the ceiling, he's back to full strength. "Make way, world! Here comes Captain Carrot! Now give my regards to Bruteway and a porcine powerhouse named Pig Iron." As we cut away to the rest of the zoo crew cornering Pig Iron, we have this truly excellent caption reading, such as the vicissitudes of the comic book world that, while Roger Rabbit has virtually recreated his origin, it's only been 3/5 of a second since we left his Zoo Crew companions, so that means the last 4 pages filled with Roy Thomas dialogue has taken up a ridiculously short amount of time. After Fastback tried and failed to run around Pig Iron so fast as to make him dizzy and incapacitate himself, Alley Cat leaps into action. My turn. Magic Wanda here propelled you into the stratosphere with us, Porky. Now to see if it can stop you cold. The magic spell just immediately bounces off Pig Iron, with him going, don't call me Porky here. Yankee Poodle and Rubber Duck try and stop Pig Iron, but to no avail, with the best line being Rubber Duck going, hold him, Rover. I'll give him my old Sunday punch, like in the second reel of Smoke Eye and the Panda. So this is one of the few movie references the kids reading this might have actually seen. Alicataba realizes, Zoo Crew, don't you see? We're fighting alone again, or just in pairs. That didn't beat Starro, and we're not going to save Pig Iron from himself either, unless we act together. So again, I do like the idea that they have tried to learn something from their previous adventure. But Pig Iron is just not having any of it, just kind of reiterating he just wants to be left alone. At this point, Captain Carrot has hopped back into the scene and is trying to convince him to join the Zoo Crew. To which Pig Iron's response is, gee, I don't know, maybe you're right. Sure I am. Maybe I don't want to be left alone. Sure you don't. Maybe No, what am I saying? I don't need nobody. I'm Pig Iron. Do you hear me? Pig Iron! Yankee Poodle makes the plea that they have to stop at Pig Iron or that they're all going to wind up on the most wanted list. And Captain Carrot reluctantly agrees, but still gives Pig Iron one last shot before they all surround him. And Captain Carrot tells him, if you're not a superhero, then you're a supervillain, and we've got to turn you in. Before the rest of the Zoo Crew then dogpiles. Okay, that pun was not intentional, I swear. Pig Iron in a cartoonish cloud of dust, but Pig Iron has been scooped up into the air, going, I'm going straight up, and nobody laid a glove on me. The rest of the Zoo Crew then quickly realize that they've done nothing but pound the crap out of each other, and Pig Iron is nowhere to be found, which is weird for a 7-foot-tall giant pig, and Rubber Duck is also missing. They quickly find him that he's being used like a basketball by this really disturbing drawing of like a monkey child. They quickly get him back after bribing the monkey child with a giant lollipop. After these shenanigans, Fastback just kind of glances up into the air and sees a very mysterious cloud, to which Captain Carrot comments, but my eyesight's improved ever since I changed my diet recently. And I've got to admit, it does look kind of suspicious. So good, Carrots improve your eyesight joke there. And another great comic book caption with, and now, once again, through the miracle of comic books, we take you back to that incredible instant when Pig Iron was literally airlifted upward as if by magic. All I did was ask to be left alone for a while, and all of a sudden, I'm Mr. Popularity. Down there, the whole blam Zoo Crew is fighting over me. And somehow, I don't think it's exactly 4 and 20 blackbirds just yanked me up into the sky. Pig Iron then hears a clank. Oh, now I get it. Sure, I'm being held by some kind of electromagnet that put me up here because I'm made out of iron. Must be some sort of metal ship hiding inside this artificial cloud. Pig Iron contemplates who it is that captured him as he's plucked inside the metal ship by giant tweezers. You will learn everything you will ever know or need to know concerning my identity, Peter Porkchops, by simply turning around. You know my real name? Or anyway, the name I used to go by? I know many things, for I am Brother Hood, master of a secret cabal known only as Acrostic, a corporation recently organized solely to investigate crimes. So first off, Brother Hood is an awesome name for a villain that could be used in a lot of other series. And 2, I cannot imagine how long it took Thomas to come up with this second acronym that he set himself up with last issue. So Brother Hood tries to convince Pig Iron to join his ranks with some rather intentionally for the comic crappy shadow puppets, Pig Iron just tells him to buzz off, and that if he was going to join an organization, it would be the Zoo Crew, and he doesn't want that either. Brotherhood then brings in his lackey to try and intimidate Pig Iron into joining, introducing himself as such. I sure been a hankering to meet ya, partner, ever since I left San Antonio yesterday and hitched up with Brotherhood. My name is Armadillo. What's yours? Armadillo has a really cool design. Even though he is just a, Ninja Turtles-esque armadillo design, he looks like if he showed up in the Defenders, I would 100% believe that without even blinking twice. Brotherhood then tells Armadillo to fight Pig Iron. To show something for Pig Iron, he realizes that Armadillo's claws can actually hurt him and dig into his iron hide. And credit to the art team, they keep Pig Iron's wounds consistent for the remainder of the issue, where I feel like a lot of other art teams would just kind of have it there for maybe that page and then they would be gone. Armadillo's best line during this scuffle is, "And when Armadillo gets riled, remember the Alamole." So Armadillo has Pig Iron beat him pretty handily before he rolls himself into a ball to finish Pig Iron off with a Chuck Tane special. As Armadillo comes bouncing towards a panicked Pig Iron, he thinks, "Just goes to show you, no matter how big you are, there's always somebody bigger, and when that bouncing baby hits the shape I'm in, I'm liable to be all she wrote. Huh? What's that tearing sound? Captain Carrot? Brace yourself, Pig Iron. The only way to stop that thing, whatever it is to take the hit myself." So Captain Carrot does show himself to be a true hero, being able to burst through the ship in the nick of time to help save the day. You came after me, tore in here and stopped that thing, after I've been trying to run out on you all day. How come? It seemed like a good idea at the time. Now that I look back on it, I'm not so sure. After a moment, Armadillo gets up for round 2, with the captions reading, "And in this corner, Armadillo. His rending claws can tear a tank to shreds in seconds. His 9-banded scales are seemingly as invulnerable as his eyes are alive with a lust to destroy. And in this corner, Pig Iron. This morning he thought he could lick the world, but now he fights for a friend whose very life depends on the Super Swine's will to win." And with a patented DC 1 punch, Pig Iron knocks out Armadillo just as the rest of the Zoo Crew arrive. Fastback makes a run at Brotherhood, who pops out of sight as soon as Fastback punch hits the chair. "I know I'm slow sometimes, but I'm betting he weren't never here. He's just one of them hollow, 3D pictures." Okay, heliographic, way harder to say than hologram. Come on. Pig Iron, who is just done with this day, takes the knocked out Armadillo, rolls him back into a ball, and kicks him out of the ship, saying, "I'll just see if I can drop kick you into orbit for a decade or 3. I probably shouldn't have done that, but it sure was fun." After Alley Cat Tabra magics them all back to Earth C, Captain Carrot says, "So we're all buddies again, and we'll give the Zoo Crew thing another whack?" "I know I want to, if you guys still want me anyhow." "What do you say, gang? Do we still want Pig Iron? You know it's CC." "Oh!" And Pig Iron sheds a tear as he is now fully accepted as one of the Zoo Crew. And our issue ends with the captions, "And so the Zoo Crew are united once more, and stronger than ever. The police drop charges, happy to have a new champion on the side of law and or order. And it's another happy ending for a funny animal superhero comic. Right, folks?" Next issue, Brotherhood plays for keeps, and one of the sudden death stars on his team is Frogzilla. Be here. Don't make us say, "We told you so." Want want. I can't do want want. If I did want for every dumb animal pun, that would just be the entire podcast. So I really love this issue. Maybe it's just been all the Fantastic Four I've been reading, but again, Pig Iron doing his best Ben Grimm on a bad day was just a delight, showcasing the book's humor not only with the dumb animal puns, but also really aping again, not intentional, a lot of superhero conventions. Like, so much happens in these 25 pages of a funny animal comic compared to like 2 or 3 issues of today's comics. It is astounding. This issue started on page 1, and it did not stop or waste any time or space. It, like, 5 out of 5 stars. That's all I've got to say for this issue. So I did not have a Looney Tunes short in mind going into this episode, but after having read it, I knew it had to be a Porky Pig episode. And I think Porky gets unfairly maligned as a boring character, including by Looney Tunes director Frank Tashlin, who did a lot of Porky shorts. But I think he works really well as a straight man to Daffy Duck, or as a normal person who can get pushed too far. And this episode will be more of the latter. First off, HBO just needs to have all Looney Tunes up for streaming at all times, because it is really annoying when they will take down whole years or a lot of years seemingly at random and then put them all back up months later. Luckily, I have my Golden Age Looney Tunes DVD collection for just such an emergency. The Awful Orphan was originally released on January 29th, 1949, directed by Chuck Jones, story by Michael Maltese, starring Mel Blanc, music by Carl Stalling once again, animation by Phil Monroe, Ben Washam, Lloyd Vaughn, and Ken Harris, layouts by Robert Gribroke, backgrounds by Peter Alvarado and Philip DeGard. So this is Charlie the dog's second appearance. He first appeared in Little Orphan Airedale from 1947. So he can be a very obnoxious character, but I think he is on the right side of it, where you can understand why Porky will be frustrating with him throughout this cartoon, without him being annoying to you, the viewer, as well. And I will also say right up front, this is a much better showcase of Chuck Jones's talents than we had last time with Super Rabbit. The short opens with Charlie drawing a crowd on the street with a series of flipboards saying things like, "You can't live without it. What is it? Man's greatest invention." And then the final board says, "Me," as he does the most puppy dog face that he can. But the audience just leaves in disgust. Charlie then hops in the back of an Acme pet store truck who is delivering a canary to Porky. And nowadays, I think we would have had a Tweety cameo. After Porky removes the covering to the birdcage, he sees Charlie has shoved himself in it, which makes him look really disturbing. Porky tries to call the pet shop, but Charlie has pulled the telephone and calls Porky ungrateful for not wanting a dog. Charlie attempts to sell himself by putting Porky in a robe by the fireplace with him at his feet, and then saying that he's a pointer dog. And I always do remember this little bit of going, "There it is, there it is, there it is." Porky then opens the door and goes, "There it is," and quickly just kicks Charlie out into the apartment hallway. In a quick note, in the background of this whole cartoon, Porky clearly has a picture of topless women in the background, and I love how they were able to sneak that right by the Hays Code. I guess they just weren't planning on someone reviewing this short 76 years later. Charlie then disguises himself as a baby on Porky's apartment door entrance. Porky leaves Charlie on for a minute, calling him things like cute and so adorable, before just utterly kicking him down the hallway once again, basket and all. Charlie bursts back into the apartment disguised as an old lady, walloping Porky with an umbrella for kicking the poor defenseless baby. Charlie chases Porky out of the apartment, causing Porky to have to get back in and demand Charlie leave once and for all. Charlie then fakes a suicide attempt by jumping out of the apartment building's window. This is horrifying Porky up until he sees that Charlie landed on a skyscraper of mattresses, where he just shoves the window shut, closes the blinds, having had enough. Another knock at the door, and Porky opens it and just starts yelling until he realizes that it is someone delivering his lunch. While holding a carving knife, Porky raises up the lunch tray to find that Charlie has yet again disguised himself, this time as the roast pork. Charlie delivers this over-the-top performance, begging Porky not to use the knife on him. quickly demonstrates all the chores that he could do. Porky appears to relent for a second and says that he will make a paper pattern for Charlie's dog coat, but quickly bundles Charlie up in brown paper, cackling evilly as he then mails him to Siberia. Charlie again comes back immediately, wearing a very stereotypical Russian clothing and then doing the Cossack dance. I hope I'm saying that right. To kick Porky out of the apartment once again. The upstairs neighbor then calls down, threatening for them to keep the noise down, but Charlie, who answered the phone, counter-threats him. Charlie then tricks Porky, who is banging on his own door, to go upstairs and talk to the neighbor. While we hear Porky get the absolute stuffing beaten out of him, we see Charlie just casually sitting in a chair and looking at 3D pictures. The upstairs neighbor then drops Porky off, and Porky finally relents and offers Charlie to stay. Charlie, however, refuses, saying, "Oh no, it's too noisy, and what with you fighting the neighbors and all," which he of course ignores the fact that it was his own fault. So as Charlie starts to leave, a disheveled Porky, who is cackling again and has this most evil look on his face, goes, "I'm beginning to like you." We then end the short with a terrified Charlie who is sitting in Porky's robe by the fireplace while Porky sleeps at his feet like a dog. So Charlie looks down at Porky, and as soon as he thinks that he's actually asleep, he tries to sneak away, but Porky just immediately starts growling and barking, forcing Charlie back into place as we cut to black. So the image of the Porky who has just had enough of it has always stuck with me, and it took me a bit to find out which short it was from after I read the issue from earlier. All of the jokes in this short land, and it keeps a brisk pace. You are constantly going to be laughing. I watched this short a few times before wanting to talk about it, and it was still funny each time. And it may not be one of the most remembered shorts, but I think it is one that is definitely worth seeking out. So, I have nothing left to say, but that's all, folks!